Several people have asked me to make a video not only of the stuff that I bring with me when I go overlanding, but also how I have the Hummer set up. And since we just got back from a big trip over the 4th of July weekend and all my stuff is currently drying after being cleaned, I figured now would be the best time to do it. Firstly, I would like to say that everything here was purchased with my own money of my own volition, and thus nothing is sponsored, so all opinions expressed in this video are solely my own. Let's go ahead and bring you the camera to the front of the Hummer and I'll show you where we start. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the forward-facing tent. It is a Smitty-built Gen 2 XL tent, and for its price point, it is huge. While it is all aluminum construction, the nylon is quite thin, and the zippers are of very low quality. I've had to replace both the zippers themselves and some of the zipper tracks multiple times over the course of owning this tent, but it has held up through rain and snow and heat, and that is to be commended. When it is mounted transversely on the vehicle and folded forward over the hood, as you can see, the ladder lines up perfectly with the step on my brush guard. The ladder can actually shoot the gap and come all the way to the ground. However, there is not a singular level space on my driveway, so it doesn't actually reach all the way to the ground the way that it is currently. This brush guard is a Predator Motorsports, and I do have to say I'm not very impressed with the quality of this thing. H1s, and by that extent military Humvees, are basically all identical. So when I got this one, and I actually had to grind away part of my airlift hooks to get it to clear, and then also the mounting brackets aren't angled down enough, so I can't actually get the safety push pins in there. I was a little disappointed. And I have been running this without the safety push pins for quite some time, and it's never actually flipped forward, so I continue to leave it like that. This hood scoop is also Predator Motorsports, and while it does fit in the slot that it is supposed to, they expect you to drill your own holes for the bolts. As I mentioned just a second ago, all Humvees and H1s are essentially identical, so not exactly the fit and finish I expected from a premium product. Howdy, Future Pickles here. After recording and importing and editing all of the other footage, I forgot to talk about the winch, actually. If you didn't know, this is a Rod Hall edition truck. If you don't know who Rod Hall is, he's a very famous off-road desert Baja 1000 type racer. You can almost think of my Hummer as a Shelby Mustang, but of the Hummer world. Anyway, I digress. This is actually a hydraulic-driven winch. You can see the two hydraulic lines there, and inside the cab I have a switch to divert fluid away from the power steering pump to the winch. And one advantage of this system is hydraulic winches don't have a duty cycle. They can run indefinitely until you run out of cable, and that has become very useful in some very specific circumstances. It does have a free spool. You can see there is a lever right here for the free spool. However, this one does not have a cable in it currently because the bolt that holds the cable to the drum is stripped out, and I have been procrastinating on taking all this stuff off to fix it. So subscribe so you don't miss that. Moving on to the side here, I have this massive Overland Vehicle Systems 180-degree tent mounted on both sides of the vehicle. You can see that one over there. This does actually have a little zippable room to enclose this space in the bag over there, and I'm too lazy to actually get it out because I didn't use it on the last trip, so it's clean and it will stay in there. But here's a smash cut to me showing off the room when I first got it. Well, here's what it looks like with the room, I guess the walls. It would be very, very easy to just put a tarp right here, bam, and then put a tarp right here, bam, and make a fully enclosed room out of this, which it'd be pretty cool. Honestly, it'd be possible to pipe the heater in here, underneath the Hummer, just run the heater pipe underneath the Hummer, so the heater can be on the other side and then just heat
either one of these spaces, and then have a projector and sit there and play movies and video games.
Back in the present, we move around to the back of the truck, and I have the Predator Motorsports jerry can holder and the Predator Motorsports spare tire holder. The only complaint that I have about those is I wish they were flipped. I wish the spare tire carrier was over here, and that is because on the H1 wagons, the right door opens first. So whenever I want to open the door, I have to swing the big heavy tire carrier out of the way to open the door, when it would be a lot easier to swing the lighter jerry can carrier out of the way. But I digress. I do actually have another one of these fuel cans, but I was using it to fill up my lawnmower earlier, and that's why it is not on here. This is a Lifesaver jerry can. It is both a water filter and a jerry can. You can pressurize it by pumping it up to have pressure filtered water. It's useful for things like spraying off your feet before you go up the ladder, or filtering water, or, cleaning off your pots and pans after you've cooked. The truck is sitting on true Hutchinson DOT bead locks. Every single one of these bolts is real, and when you unbolt it, the tire comes apart, like you'll see in this diagram. Been sitting on Yokohama Geolander MT-03s for quite some time. I just got this set put on a month ago after my tires blew out on the way to Cars and Cameras Mini Mayhem. Video up in the top right if you want to learn more about that. And then I do have the Rotopax water and fuel carrier. While the truck is diesel, everything else is gasoline, including most of the machines that I bring with me. So, nice big gasoline. Let's go up to the top. I do have a high lift jack for a high ground clearance vehicle. And while I have never gotten stuck, there are plenty of Jeeps and Subarus and Toyotas that use the trails too that also get stuck a ton. So I do have a set of traction boards. And then name me another rooftop tent with a back porch. This area makes a really nice staging area where, I can put on my boots, or take off my boots, or change clothes before going into the tent so I don't get the tent dirty. Then under this little awning here is where my diesel heater typically sits when it is used. Going inside of the tent, this thing is massive. It allegedly sleeps 5 people, although I have only ever slept 2 in here, and I typically sleep right here. And then all of my other stuff that is with me in the tent sits over here, like the camping battery and the air conditioner, and then, a pair of baseball shorts and a t-shirt. And then typically, if I do use the projector, it sits on top of the camping battery and projects onto the back wall if I want to watch a movie in my tent. Moving back out onto the rack, a lot of this stuff does get strapped down here in boxes and does not actually go with me inside the cab of the truck, so I can bring multiple people with me. But let's get down and I'll show you. Before we get on to the rest of the camping gear, I would like to talk a little bit more about this roof rack, because as you can see, I have a ladder that slides out and then folds down, where a lot of the Humvees have the little static ladder off to the side. This is a Humhers roof rack, Humhers, Humhers, and I can't find any information about these on the internet. I have searched far and wide, and I can't find anything, but if you guys do, leave it in the comments section down below. But as you can see, also, the roof rack can come off by undoing these little latches. That one's dirty, probably need to clean it. And I have taken the roof rack off to clean the roof. As for power when I'm camping, I have the Goal Zero Yeti 1500. This is not the biggest camping battery they make, or even the biggest one that I wanted. This was just the biggest one that I could afford at the time, so I got it. It also came in a bundle with the solar panel. This will typically last me about 3 days if I'm only doing really basic stuff like charging my phone, or maybe charging my Steam Deck or running the projector. But if I'm doing some more intense stuff like running the air conditioner, it does drain pretty quickly. However, it will fully charge in 8 hours if it is sunny outside with the provided solar panel. As you can see here, I do have the smallest generator Harbor Freight makes. In fact, when writing the script for this video, they don't even make this one anymore. They make the 2000, which is what I should have gotten because the 2000 is actually not any bigger, but the extra 600 watts of power does come in useful in some circumstances. I mentioned the air conditioner earlier, and here she is. This is the Bouge RV, and this is actually the older model. While it is not a Peltier cooler, it is a proper air conditioner that is charged with 134A, the same refrigerant that's in most cars. It is power hungry, and it also runs on 24 volts instead of the usual 12 like everything else. As for lighting, I do have two Coleman dual fuel lanterns and a Thermacell mosquito lantern. And I know everybody has a flashlight on their phones nowadays, but having a big dedicated flashlight is actually pretty nice. This is an Eye Protect 10,000, and as you can guess, it is 10,000 watts, or lumens, sorry. As for cooking, I do bring quite a lot of stuff, both for base camp cooking and backpack cooking, the main of which being this Lodge cast iron cook-it-all. It is a grill, a griddle, a Dutch oven, and a wok all in one. If you don't have one of these, get you one. I use mine all the time, even here at the house. Got a Sea to Summit Camp Kitchen Cleanup Kit and a GSI Outdoors Camp Kitchen Supplement Kit. Got varieties of pots and pans. These are Ascend. This is a GSI Outdoors. This is a Unico Tupperware. That fry pot's just from Cabela's. Of course, we like popcorn, so Campfire Popcorn Maker. And then I do have an MSR stove that can run off of diesel fuel, kerosene, gasoline, naphtha, all that sort of jazz. And it is all sitting on this beautiful aluminum table that I got from REI. But you do have to be kind of careful with this thing because it will dent very easily. I don't know if you can see that. I do also have the Smittybilt 60-quart refrigerator. Now, this is not a true refrigerator. It is a Peltier cooler, so it is quite power hungry, but it is very nice to be able to keep things like milk and eggs and cheese when I'm out. As for the bathroom and shower situation, I have this Rapid Shelter 2-room privacy tent that I got from REI. And as you can see, I also have a Thetford portable toilet in here. And then stepping into the shower room, the perimeter is open to allow any water to drain. I typically use my shower attachment for the Lifesaver jerry can that I mentioned earlier. However, if I do want to take a warm shower, this thing is amazing. Oh, sorry, tripped. This is an REI geyser. Plugs into a 12-volt outlet and heats water, and then pumps it through this little sponge to save water. My diesel heater is over here, as I was actually using it to heat the workshop until it got hot outside. It is a Hallerkoi diesel heater, not too dissimilar than the ones that you buy on Amazon. However, this one is just a tad bit more quality, has a tad bit more safety features built into it too, like it has an auto shutdown function if it detects an excess of carbon monoxide. As for tools, my basic loadout is pretty light. I always keep a Harbor Freight Pittsburgh toolbox in the Hummer at all times, no matter what I'm doing. And then I do bring an entrenching tool, a hand-powered chainsaw, camping axe, and a machete. Now, depending on what I'm doing, more tools might come with me, but obviously I'm not going to bring an impact gun when I go hiking. And that is it. That is pretty much all the default kit that I bring when I go camping. Like I mentioned in the last clip, I do bring a lot more tools if I'm going to somewhere like, say, Mini Mayhem or Windrock, where we just got back from, but everything you've seen here, I always bring with me, no matter what I'm doing. This has been the one and only Pickles. Thank you very much for watching.